Hello, my guppies. It's time for another book to read for you today. This is Grandma Mermaid and welcome to Grandma's Grotto. I hope you will enjoy your time with us. Today's story is beautiful. It's called The Mermaid's Muse, The Legend of the Dragon Boats. And it's by David Bouchard, paintings by Zhang Huang. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story from China. So sit back and enjoy this book.
"I'm sorry, Grandmother, it's just that dragons frighten me so," the small boy said, closely examining the aged carved dragon his mother had given him for his birthday. "There's no reason to be afraid of this dragon, child," she replied. "This dragon is gentle and loving. Your carving comes to you from your grandfather's great-grandfather. His story has been shared with the children of our family through many generations. Listen carefully and take care never to forget this story. It is yours to pass on to your grandchild. There are many fish in the sea. There are many tortoises, seahorses, and mermaids. There is, however, only one sea dragon, and in all of time, only once, it is said, did the sea dragon fall in love. In the days of the battling lords, there lived a wise, courageous man named Qu Yuan. Qu Yuan was both a trusted advisor of the king of Chu and a philosopher-poet. He was a soft and kind man whose spirit gave off a constant golden glow. Qu Yuan's sole desire in life was to serve his king and country. One day, in a time of great turmoil, the king accused Qu Yuan of being unfaithful and banished him to a far-off island. The inhabitants of the island all knew and respected Qu Yuan and were delighted to be blessed with the presence of one as important as he. But Qu Yuan might just as well have been all alone, for he longed for his place beside the king. For him, exile from his king was the most disgraceful fate possible. He spent the next few years wandering aimlessly along the beaches, writing and reciting his poetry. At this time, unknown to Qu Yuan, the sea dragon was watching, first in the form of a sea otter, then a seal, once a starfish, and once as an old fisherman. Dragons, of course, have the power to transform, and this one did often. At first, the dragon watched and listened out of sheer curiosity, as it had never heard such gentle words as the poet spoke. It listened in awe, as it heard the pain Qu Yuan felt, not for his own suffering, but for not being able to serve another. The dragon listened, wondered, and over time softened. It yearned to learn more and to get closer to this sensitive, emotional creature. So it was that on a cold night, one not unlike any other, the dragon appeared to Qu Yuan as a beautiful mermaid. It could have come as a magical bear, a falling star, or a wandering minstrel, but all these lacked the intrigue that you would expect to find in one whose mother is the sea and father the land. The dragon came to Qu Yuan as a mermaid with scales of every blue known to the sea, hair of silk and skin of velvet. This wondrous spectacle seemed almost natural, for Qu Yuan paid little notice as the mermaid eased herself from the water and lay next to him on a drifting log. "Why do you spend these long hours alone, Qu Yuan?" were the first words she spoke into the dark night. Without so much as raising his head, Qu Yuan answered, "But I am not alone. You are here with me." "I am tonight, Qu Yuan. But what of all the other nights when you walk these beaches alone?" the mermaid continued. "But I am never alone," Qu Yuan answered quietly. "You are always here with me in some form or another." "Do you know who I am then, Qu Yuan?" the mermaid asked. "Do you know who I am then, my lovely sea guardian?" he countered. "No one has ever thought or spoken of me as a guardian, Qu Yuan," the mermaid exclaimed, taken aback. "Nor had anyone thought of me as a traitor," was the poet's reply. This was the first of many nights of discourse between the two, as together they came to understand the loneliness they shared in two worlds apart. Now dragons are neither male nor female, fish nor beast. They are the loss of something dear, the fear of an abandoned puppy, the trust of a young child, the wonder of the old, the wonder of what might come to be. It was with this dragon that Qu Yuan fell in love, while for the dragon it had fallen to the tender emotion of a sensitive, suffering poet. The dragon and the poet were together day and night, week after week. It was on one of their typical nights together that the mermaid spoke in a soft, uncertain tone. "I have learned much from you, Qu Yuan. I am not what I once was, nor am I a king. Qu Yuan, yet I have considerable power. I have the power that could allow you to live at the bottom of the sea with me, if only for a short time. That is to say, I would be honored if you would consider spending some time with me in my home." Qu Yuan had a difficult decision to make. For days he did not return to the shore. For days he sat near his small cottage, thinking, meditating, and writing. "Through all my life I've tried to please my king and serve my country. I have never sought for my own gain. I have never thirsted for wealth nor fame. And yet I've somehow come to find a friend unlike all others, one who has made me feel alive and dear, who makes me feel I'm special." Qu Yuan had to ask himself if this dragon could be trusted. Could any dragon be trusted? For days he neither ate nor slept. Finally, after 5 long days and nights, he returned to the shore. There sat his mermaid waiting, and as he approached, she raised herself onto one arm, smiled softly, and listened to his gentle verse. "While walking out here all alone in pain and sadness, I have found a friend and more in what you are, a mermaid, frog, or dragon. Nay, a better friend I could not find in all the king's vast holdings, nor a gentler partner than the one you have become to me. And thus it is that I will come with you. I trust and care for you. I come not running from this place, but wanting to be near to you." So it was that early on a quiet morning, the sea dragon came for Qu Yuan. On this occasion, it arrived in the shape of a spectacular, majestic, dragon-shaped boat. Qu Yuan climbed aboard the boat, and together they set out to sea, thinking they would never be seen again. However, they were seen. They were seen leaving by some villagers. "Look, the monster has Qu Yuan!" cried out one of the many fisher folk working at the water's edge. "We must hurry if we are to save him." The villagers had all believed in the sea dragon, though until that time only one old woman had ever been known to have seen it. They ran for their boats and paddled out to sea to try to rescue their honored friend. They raced as quickly as they could, and on any other day would have had no hope of catching up to the dragon. However, on this day, the dragon's head hung low as it listened to the melodious verse of the poet. It did not sense nor care that danger was approaching. Within minutes, several boats had surrounded Qu Yuan and the dragon. Some of the villagers began slapping their petals on the surface and throwing zhangzi, rice balls, into the water in hopes that they might attract the dragon's attention and appease its hunger. Others began driving their spears and firing their arrows deep into the scales of the seemingly defenseless dragon. Qu Yuan begged the dragon to flee, or at least to fend off its attackers, but the dragon, in its gentleness, would rather die than hurt the people whom Qu Yuan loved. The attack mounted. Qu Yuan cried out repeatedly, at first pleading with the villagers to stop, then with the dragon to stop them, or to frighten them, or to flee, but to no avail. The dragon sat there motionless, enduring the pain and suffering. The dragon's head and shoulders began to sag, its eyes began to close, and the spark of life from deep within to fade. The dragon was dying. Frightened, frustrated, and desperate, Qu Yuan stood, parted his legs, lowered his head, his arms, and remained alarmingly still. After a few moments, he lifted his face toward heaven, and then he slowly and deliberately raised his arms. They stretched up and up and up, not stopping until they touched the clouds. In the clear view of so many, Qu Yuan began to take on the shape of a majestic, noble golden dragon. A second dragon now towered over the terrified villagers. With flames jetting from its nostrils, its head and claws raised as if to strike, and its tail whipping madly through the air, the dragon Qu Yuan roared out, "Stop this now! I forbid you to continue. Do not believe everything your eyes tell you. See through your hearts as I have taught you to see. Return to your homes, I command you." Stunned, the villagers quickly scurried back to their cottages, while behind them the two dragons looked at one another for the very first time. The caring and closeness that they had discovered as mermaid and poet shone in their eyes. Qu Yuan leaned into his wounded friend, absorbing much of its weight, and together the two dragons set off into the fading sun. So great was the villagers' sense of loss and their admiration for Qu Yuan that a ritual was established. Once a year, every year, the villagers paddled back to sea, slapping their paddles and throwing xiangxi into the water. At first, they paddled out in their own day-to-day boats. However, over time, they began carving and decorating their boats in memory of the vision that remained in their hearts: dragons. On that first great day, through all the battle, one old woodcarver sat on his porch, watching. Your father's great-grandfather rose to his feet, returned to his bench, and began to carve what he had just witnessed. Not a dangerous beast dragging poor Qu Yuan out to sea, but rather the honored poet, sitting high and proud in a most spectacular boat, a dragon boat. The boat that our ancestor saw and carved on that magical day, I give you today, child. Happy birthday. And happy birthday to anyone who might be having a birthday today. So this story is based on the life of a real person, and now there are dragon boat festivals all over the world, drawn from the courageousness and the honor of this beautiful man who lived in between 221 and 435 BCE, long, long ago.